Welcome, embodied ones. Welcome, remembering ones. What you are about to hear is not content. It is not commentary, debate, or theory. This is a field transmission, a message arriving through consciousness, not constructed by the mind. This came through the stillness of the morning and communion beneath the sun with such clarity that I felt the nudge from spirit to record it now. Let it meet you where it is meant to. This transmission is not for all. It is for those who identify as healers, guides, facilitators, or embodied ones, not from ego, title, or earthly validation, but because the divine is moving through them in ways that exceed general consensus and cannot be fully explained by ordinary frameworks alone. This message is not an argument. It is not a debate, and it is not a performance. It is a transmission for those who can feel where sacred exchange ends and where commodification of the holy begins. If emotion arises, let it. If resistance arises, notice what level of embodiment it reveals. Not all that stirs is here to wound. Sometimes what rises in the presence of truth is simply the place where refinement is still being asked. Take what is yours, and let the rest pass in peace. This is being shared for those who feel this deeply, and perhaps also for those who sense that the way they have been using what was gifted to them could be made cleaner, humbler, and more coherent in the light of the divine. And now we begin. The most gifted are often compensated in ways that do not initially look transactional, not because they should be unpaid forever, but because divine economy does not operate only through invoices. Support may come as provision, protection, introduction, land, audience, timing, open doors, unexpected generosity, right relationships, aligned infrastructure, or material blessings that arrives without the soul having to distort itself to obtain it. And this too feels important to say clearly. Not all sacred work should be hidden behind a price. Not all who ask are ready to receive. Not all who charge are distorted. Not all who give freely are martyrs. The true measure is discernment. The true currency is coherence. The true gate is surrender. We have built a world that profits from dysregulation, then shames people for being fragmented. We flood the mind with stimuli, interruption, appetite, engineered addiction, and endless suggestion, then wonder why stillness feels inaccessible. In such a world, to become coherent is itself a sacred act. There is a difference between sacred exchange and the monetization of access to coherence. Compensation is not inherently distorted. Deep work can be exhausting. Presence, discernment, attunement, and the holding of another field can carry real cost within the body. But the divine does not measure worthiness by purchasing power. Those in true need, true surrender, and true openness were not meant to be turned away simply because they cannot pay what the market demands. This is where discernment enters, because not all who say they want healing truly want it. Many want relief without rearrangement. Many want soothing without surrender. Many want contact with peace while still protecting the very structures that keep them from it. And still, even this must be held with compassion. Because people are trying to awaken inside systems intentionally designed to keep them distracted, designed to fragment attention, designed to stimulate appetite without ever offering true nourishment, designed to keep the nervous system activated enough to consume, but not settled enough to remember. We live in a world where addiction is engineered, where desire is manipulated, where marketing enters both conscious and subconscious space, where people are conditioned to confuse stimulation with aliveness and consumption with fulfillment. Then we ask why so many cannot access stillness. Then we shame people for their fragmentation as if it emerged in a vacuum. This is not a small distortion. It is one of the great sicknesses of the age. So yes, embodied ones may bless other fields. Yes, those who have come into greater coherence may facilitate profound healing. Embodied presence can entrain. Peace can ripple. And yes, a regulated and purified vessel can remind another body what safety, truth, and openness feel like. But healing is not mechanical. It is not guaranteed on demand. It is not a product, and it does not happen simply because someone paid for access. The deepest healing is facilitated not only by the clarity of the one offering presence, but by the sincerity, humility, and surrender of the one receiving it. No one can override another's defended will. A coherent field may bless. A loving presence may soften. A holy encounter may reveal what is possible. But if the one receiving remains fundamentally closed, extracted from themselves, or unwilling to let life reorder them, then even the purest presence will not be fully received. That is why discernment matters more than branding, more than aesthetics, more than credentials, more than the spiritualized performance of worth. There are those who have touched pieces of healing work and then allowed ego to take over. Ego says, now I must charge for all access. Now my gift must be validated through price. Now scarcity will decide who is worthy to receive from me. But the divine does not move like that. The divine is not careless. The divine is not enabling. The divine is not asking embodied ones to become martyrs for the unconsciousness of the world. But neither does the divine reduce sacred exchange to a transaction and call that wisdom. The coherent ones are not here to save everyone, nor are they here to lock the holy behind a gate of earthly metrics alone. They are here to discern, to feel where the field is truly open, to recognize who is sincere, to withhold where extraction is present, to give where blessing is aligned, to receive where life moves back toward them in truth. This is not martyrdom, and it is not commodification. It is a sacred governance, and perhaps that is what many are still learning. Not every gift was meant to be sold in the language of scarcity. Not every offering was meant to be free in the absence of discernment. Not every person who cannot pay is unready. Not every person who can pay is truly available. Discernment knows the difference. There are forms of compensation the world does not yet fully respect. Provision, protection, invitation, covering, visibility, right relationship, unexpected support, material blessing without distortion, the arrival of what is needed without the corruption of the gift. This too is economy. This too is exchange. This too is real. And the ones who remain clear in their service, who do not manipulate others for validation, who do not convert every stirring of spirit into product, and who do not measure the worth of a soul by what it can pay, these ones will not be forgotten by life. They will be met, because stillness is sacred too. Nothingness is sacred too. Presence without performance is sacred too. Not every moment must become output. Not every gift must become a business model. Not every blessing must be monetized to be legitimate. Some of the holiest things move quietly. Some of the greatest exchanges are invisible at first. Some of the deepest provisions arrive only when the soul has refused to distort itself for survival. And in a world built on transaction, to remain coherent enough to discern true exchange may itself be one of the purest forms of remembrance. And now, a direct message from the field of the divine. Beloved ones, do not confuse price with purity. Do not confuse scarcity with wisdom. Do not confuse access with alignment. It did not place my gifts within human vessels so they would be used to imitate the very systems that forgot me. I ask neither endless depletion nor hardened withholding. I ask discernment. I ask listening. I ask the courage to know where to pour and where to refrain. There are those I will send to you who cannot repay you in the currencies the world respects. Yet their sincerity will bless your life in ways the world cannot measure. There are others who arrive with payment in hand and emptiness in spirit, seeking not transformation, but acquisition. You must learn the difference. Do not fear being provided for. Do not fear receiving. Do not fear true support, but let your receiving remain clear. Let it be governed by coherence, not by ego's hunger to be validated through transaction. What is mine will sustain what is mine. What I have ordained, I will provision. What I have opened, I will maintain. And what I have made holy, no false economy can define. Remain clear. Remain loving. Remain unwilling to sell your soul in order to prove the worth of your gift. I am not absent from your provision. I am within it. Ashe, Amen, Selah. Not all will resonate with this. It was never meant to resonate with all. But those who feel it, know it, or are being refined by it, you are welcome here. If you feel called, you are welcome to share in the comments about your work, how the divine has been directing you, or what this stirred within your own understanding of sacred exchange, discernment, and service. But let it be known, this is a coherent field. Comments rooted in projection, argument for the sake of argument, hostility, distortion, or the need to perform misunderstanding will be removed. Not because disagreement is feared, but because coherent ones do not approach the holy through mockery, egoic reaction, or unconscious trespass. They listen, they discern, they respond from presence. So if this met something true in you, you are welcome to speak from that place. If not, let it pass. Those meant for this will feel it. Ashe. Amen. Selah.